Welcome back to How to Art. This is Sherry Elliott Pope, and I have before you here a picture of a painting that was done by Bernard Corey, who lived from 1914 to 2000. It is entitled March Snow. It is a winter scene landscape with evergreens, snow, and patchy areas of grass sticking up out of the snow. I have pre-primed the canvas with 2 coats of gesso and did an underpainting of light blue. I'm working on making clouds right now, and so as I look at the sky, I can see that there are blue grays, white grays, with a darker value and a lighter value to that, and a mid-range, and then there is the white area. So I have taken blue and I've added its complement of orange to mix that a little bit and mute that color. And so I'm trying to create those light and dark areas as he has in the sky. And so this is a winter sky, possibly with some more snow coming down. We've seen that there's snow on the ground, so there has been some snow, and perhaps there's going to be some more snow. The gray paint that I'm painting on top of now with the white is still damp, so I'm pulling some of that up into the white, and that adds a variance in color and gives it more shape and definition. As I've said in other videos, I don't really paint this fast. I speed up the videos and do voiceovers, and that way the videos go faster and don't take up as much of your time. I've also edited this video to cut out some of the redundant areas. Again, I'm trying to be considerate of your time and get that information in there without monopolizing your day. I recognize as I'm looking at this video that the sky area looks more black and white or shades of white and gray, but in reality, when I'm looking at it, there are very subtle shades of blue grays. Okay, we're going to create that tree line now, and we have some blue-green evergreens and some red-brown trees in our tree line. So evergreens are called evergreens for a good reason, because they stay green for the most part all year round. So we have evergreens, and we also have other trees that are reddish brown trees that their leaves are no longer that green color, but have dried. What's remaining on them are dried reddish brown vegetation. Rather than using a straight line per se to do my tree line, I'm using a series of dots because that's what it looks like when I look at it, because there's areas where the branches and leaves are sticking up into the sky, and they are very sparse. So I'm trying to create that look. Okay, we've determined where the top of the tree line is, and now I am trying to determine where the bottom of the tree line is and where the snow area is. So I'm blocking in about the length of what I expect that I will need for that tree area. I'm going to be using my brush strokes to indicate the lay of the land. There are small hills and little valleys in this picture. And so I'm going to be using brush strokes as a tool to help create that effect. And I'm also going to be using values. So we have the red violet, a very pastel red violet, and a very pastel blue violet shadows that are in the snow in the valley area. So I'm going to be laying that down too. Can you see how the brush strokes alone are creating the appearance of a hill? Because the brush strokes are going in a semicircular manner. I'm applying those shadow colors now, and this is created by the trees blocking some of the light from the sun. So that area of snow beneath and in front of the trees are going to be slightly darker. The darker values in the snow are also indicating the areas that are lower, and the widest whites indicate the highest areas on the hills. So I've laid the darker value areas of the snow down, and now I'm going to be adding the whiter, lighter colors in the snow. I've prepared a very pastel blue violet solution that's been diluted with glycerin water. And what it's going to do is give a light coating over the snow area, which will allow the darker and lighter values to show through and give it a more uniform appearance. I'm indicating where the patchy areas of ground and grass are that are sticking up through the snow. This is something that I do to help me find my way in a painting. I'm using a small fan brush for the grasses. It works really well that you can put a little paint on there and drag it up to indicate grasses. Also, it's good for doing evergreen, the boughs on the evergreen. I am using the small fan brush to indicate the piney needles on the evergreen trees. So we have some green evergreens, and then we have some brown, I believe they're evergreens, but they could be some other type of tree that we're also using that fan brush on. So I've mixed together some reddish browns and some brown, tan browns. I have mixed together in the blue greens. I've mixed together some yellow greens to use as highlights, and some very dark pine green and a mid-range pine green. So you'll see me using those colors. And the color palette I indicated at the very beginning of this video, which hopefully will help you. But, truthfully, you could get any color of brown, green, and mix those using your color wheel to whatever color you liked. You wouldn't have to necessarily stick to the same colors that I'm using. I'm adding some highlights now where the light is touching the tops of the trees. I am coming back in the body of the trees with some light and now dark browns. And this will add some fullness and variety to the color in the trees. And when you use several colors in this way, it will make your trees look three-dimensional, like they have a shape, like they have a front and back, and you can see the front and the sides of the tree, not just a cookie cutter type shape. I'm using a line brush now to make the trunks of the trees. I am using a tan color, and we'll make some variants of the consistency of the lighter and darker tans, just so that it's not monotonous. There'll be some variety in the color of the tree trunks. I'm adding some highlights to the evergreens that are in the foreground. And this is going to give an indication of some snow that's possibly falling or has fallen on the trees. I'm continuing to add lighter and darker values to make the trees look more realistic. I'm doing something similar with the grass area, and then I'm using the darker colors toward the base and the lighter colors at the top. And I'm using my brush in an upward motion to indicate blades of grass. Let's take titanium white straight out of the tube and go over the lightest areas of the snow. Let's add the titanium white right out of the tube in the cloud area as well, to make sure that we're indicating those very lightest values against the mid-range and darkest values. So we're finished. I'm pleased with the results. I hope you are too. Please like and subscribe so that I can continue to bring you more YouTube videos on how to art.